Close your eyes for just a moment and think back. It's 1966. You're sitting in your living room, or maybe standing in a crowded dance hall with friends. The lights are dim, laughter fills the air, and the world feels full of possibility. Then suddenly that rich, haunting voice begins to play through the speakers. The sun ain't gonna shine anymore, the moon ain't gonna rise in the sky. And just like that, something in your heart stirs. It aches a little, but in the most beautiful way. That was the magic of the Walker Brothers. Today we say a gentle goodbye to the last of them. Gary Leeds, known around the world as Gary Walker, passed away peacefully on March 1st, 2026, at the age of 83, only days before what would have been his 84th birthday. He suffered a stroke late last year, and now he has joined his musical brothers once again, somewhere beyond the stage lights and applause. If those opening chords stirred something deep inside you, stay with me, because this isn't just a story about a band. It's about the soundtrack of our youth, the memories we carry, and the kind of music that never truly fades. Gary Walker was born Gary Leeds on March 9th, 1942 in Glendale, California. Like many young dreamers growing up in post-war America, he was surrounded by the sounds of a changing world. Rock and roll was rising, radios were buzzing with new voices, and teenagers everywhere were discovering the power of music. Gary picked up the drums and quickly showed a natural rhythm that set him apart. Before long, he was performing with the Standells, a garage rock band that was beginning to gain attention. But fate had something even bigger waiting for him. In the early 1960s, Gary met two other young musicians, John Mouse, who would become John Walker, and Noel Scott Engel, later known as the unforgettable Scott Walker. They weren't brothers by blood, but when they performed together, something clicked instantly. Their voices blended, their style matched, and their ambition aligned. In 1964, they formed the Walker Brothers, borrowing the name because it sounded perfect for show business. Soon that name would become legendary. With encouragement from Gary's parents, the trio made a bold move. They traveled across the Atlantic to London, hoping British audiences might connect with their dramatic musical style. What happened next surprised everyone. Britain didn't just like them, Britain fell completely in love with them. By 1965 and 1966, the Walker Brothers had become one of the biggest acts in the country. Their cover of Make It Easy on Yourself climbed the charts and captured hearts everywhere. But it was another song that truly defined them. The Sun Ain't Gonna Shine Anymore, written by Bob Crewe, the song became something unforgettable in their hands. The sweeping orchestral sound, the deep emotion, the powerful harmonies, and Gary Walker's steady drums underneath it all created a moment that listeners never forgot. For millions of people, that song became more than music. It became a feeling. It played during first loves, quiet evenings, long drives, and moments when life felt overwhelming. Somehow it captured heartbreak and hope at the same time. The Walker Brothers continued releasing memorable songs like My Ship Is Coming In, filled with soaring optimism and images which carried a darker emotional depth. Their sound blended blue-eyed soul, Baroque pop, and cinematic drama that reminded many listeners of Phil Spector's famous Wall of Sound. They weren't simply a band performing songs, they were creating moments people carried with them for decades. And Gary Walker was an essential part of that magic. He wasn't only the drummer keeping the rhythm alive. He also sang backing vocals and even released solo singles like You Don't Love Me during the group's peak popularity. Behind the scenes, Gary was often seen as the steady presence who helped hold everything together when pressures of fame began to grow. But like many musical stories from that golden era, time eventually carried the band in different directions. By the late 1960s, the group separated, though they reunited briefly in the 1970s for a short return that thrilled longtime fans. After that, each member followed a different path. Scott Walker became a mysterious and influential artist in experimental music. John Walker continued performing and sharing the band's legacy with audiences, and Gary Walker chose a quieter life. He settled in England, away from the spotlight, building a life centered on family and staying connected with the fans who never forgot the music. Building a life centered on family and staying connected with the fans who never forgot the music. He is survived by his wife Barbara, who shared many years of love and memories with him. Over the years, the losses slowly came. John Walker passed away in 2011 after a battle with cancer. Scott Walker followed in 2019. For a time, Gary became the last Walker brother still with us, the final keeper of those shared memories. In their 2009 book, No Regrets, Our Story, Gary and John reflected on their remarkable journey with honesty, warmth, and gratitude for everything they experienced together. Now, with Gary's passing, an entire chapter of musical history gently closes. But here's the beautiful truth: the music still lives on. Play The Sun Ain't Gonna Shine Anymore today, and suddenly time disappears. Maybe you're 18 again. Maybe you're dancing slowly under dim lights. Maybe you're driving down a quiet road with the windows open and the music filling the air. Gary Walker's rhythm is still there in every beat. His voice is still there in every harmony. And the songs that once defined a generation still carry the same emotional power today. So tonight, let's remember Gary Leeds, the man the world knew as Gary Walker, not only with sadness, but with deep gratitude. Thank you for the music, thank you for the memories, and thank you for being part of something truly timeless. If a Walker Brothers song brings back memories for you, share it in the comments. I'd love to hear which song takes you back to another time. And if you enjoy heartfelt tributes like this, be sure to subscribe to Xplained Daily and turn on notifications so you never miss a story about the artists who shaped our lives. Until next time, keep the music playing. Rest in peace, Gary Walker. The sun may not shine anymore, but your light still does.